2, 1.
Are you adjusting the cameras? Yeah. Fading it. Fading it. Oh. I think that worked. Oh. Sorry, that kind of came out of nowhere.
I wasn't ready.
Oh, nice. Oh, welcome back to Riches and Rags episode. I think we're at maybe 26 now. Ezra, I'm happy to have you again, man. We're checking in on you. You got some cool stuff coming up, right?
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having me again. Yeah, some cool stuff.
The thing that you just did that I think you probably want to talk about the most is that show you just did. Tell me about it.
Yeah, dude. So I think it's been 2 weeks now. My band just played at Meow Wolf in Santa Fe.
What is Meow Wolf?
So Meow Wolf is an interactive art exhibit, but they also host some crazy shows. I had only ever seen bands that I really, really admire there, like the Marias and Bahamas, to name a couple, but never did I think that I was going to be on that stage. It was always kind of just a goal.
But if it was a goal, then you kind of knew you were going to be on that stage.
I don't know. Like, it always felt far-fetched for me until I really started doing it. And then it just materialized. It was crazy, though.
That's awesome. Can we bring up maybe like your Instagram and see those pictures?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if everyone knows what Meow Wolf is. There might be a few more in other states, but man, it's wild. It's like going into Alice in Wonderland.
It's super trippy. Yeah, they have one in Grapevine now in Texas somewhere. I think that's Dallas. And then
Ezra.Sena.
Denver. I think the one that I posted on is just, that one. No, bottom one. That's my personal one.
Oh, shit.
It's all good.
Not the personals.
Oh, so okay, my bad.
There you go.
This one. Hey,
I know.
Blue
I try to
check,
just-
you're official, baby. Not playing.
Anybody can do it, dude. Honestly.
Yeah, you can pay for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a different type of blue check mark, right? Or because I don't know.
I don't know. One day, Instagram just prompted me and asked me if I wanted to be verified, and so I was like, "Yeah, looks
nice.
cool."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay, nice. You had to put in your ID information.
Yeah, and also it's really dumb. But I guess it's probably not for security purposes. But like, if you ever want to change your profile picture, you have to like take it off and re-verify. So you have to resend your ID and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's fine.
Those are the good ones. That's a good picture right there. The one you were just in.
That top one. That's from Meow Wolf.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sexy,
The homeboy Adam Rios did all these photos. He did an insane job. He captured everything. It was awesome.
Yeah, man. He did a great job. Can we scroll through some of those, man? Because he had a bunch of in the Meow Wolf show. Because he's got a few photos in there.
Ooh, that's...
Yeah, so for anyone who has never been, it is basically, like an art exhibit, but the cool thing is they threw that actual stage there. So at nights, they host concerts. I think I've seen Flying Lotus there. I've seen Kishi Bashi.
Nice.
I don't know if you know who either of those are. You're like, I don't know. But, man, that looks magical.
It was awesome, dude. We were opening for a band called Sir Chloe. It was a sold-out show. Definitely not sold out because of us, but we were just happy to be there. Everybody in that band was super nice. We got good connections with like their touring manager and stuff.
Who contacted who about it? Was it an outreach cold on your part?
No. Well, I don't know. So Willa really is the front person of the band. She, I think at some point had gotten a connection with someone at Meow Wolf. But the way I guess they book there is they reach out to you. And so they had contacted us about a show before that, but the band ended up bringing their own support. So like we ended up not getting on that ticket. And so we just kind of told them like, hey, we're still interested. Like, just let us know if you ever want us again. And then it was like immediately after they sent us Sir Chloe. And
That's what's up. So the venue themselves hit you up.
yeah. So that was super, super cool. Pretty humbling. I don't know. Pretty crazy.
What did it feel like?
Dude, insane. I can give you a play-by-play, but really,
man.
like, I would say it all kind of came to a peak about 5 minutes pre-show. Because all day I was nervous. I was throwing up. I was so nervous.
Really?
Yeah, dude, I was dying inside. But, like...
You would actually? No way. You're throwing up because you were nervous.
Bro, yeah. I get,
That's-
like, mad stage anxiety, like, still to this day.
But you're so, like, in your element on stage. And I can say that because I'm on with you
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
in another project.
Yeah.
You don't come off that way at all.
Well, thank you. It's taken a very long time to try to get there. I don't know. But like, that's to say, like, after we played that first song, like, it just felt fine. It was totally normal. But like I said, like 5 minutes before, dude, I was dying.
I got. How many times did you throw up? Fixated on that.
So like first thing in the morning, I woke up and I was like, today's the day. And then like in the green room, like I said, like 5 minutes before, I'm leaning up against the wall, just audibly gagging.
So do you change your diet or like fast or anything
I
before?
just try to eat normally, you know, like, I don't know, make sure that I'm nourished. I don't know. I didn't really change anything up. I just drank a lot of water. I knew it was going to be like, I don't want to pass out or something, but yeah, I don't know. It was pretty nuts, dude. Like, green room pre-show for all four of us was like, I had never seen Kendall Jones get nervous.
Yeah,
Kendall
he's
was
always
nervous.
calm.
Yeah,
dude.
he's like he's gonna say he wasn't, and I don't know if he'll watch this or not, but like, he was nervous.
Yeah, let's find that picture with the crowd on the other one, and then
I think Willa also posted some more. If you wanted to see more, I can also
there was
show
a
you guys
really
more.
good
But
picture with the crowd. Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
that
dude,
would make
that
me a little
was-
nervous.
Lit,
It's
dude.
intimate. is
it
what
was
is.
very, very intimate. You could hear that crowd, dude, through the walls, like just murmuring. Because I mean, people were showing up like during our sound check, which was like 2 hours before we even went on. Sold out. I mean, it was packed. There's like
Look how happy you
balconies.
are. That's not someone who's throwing up.
That was post show.
Oh,
I
that
think.
was
Yeah.
that was
No,
post-show.
it wasn't, because I was still wearing my snail mail shirt. So that was pre-show. That was probably right before we went on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I went in and then I changed, and then I think that was it, dude. That was like pre 5 minutes, like I'm talking about.
Right on.
But yeah, dude, it was awesome. I don't think the sound of like the door opening once they like cut the music, right? Because it's like it's showtime, so they shut the music off, and just like the scream from the crowd, dude. That I'll never get
That's
over
cool.
that.
Oh man.
That was
Yeah.
crazy.
There's something about a group of people when they all use their voices, whether it's a rumble, a laughter, or a cheer. There's that energy all going towards you.
Oh yeah, dude.
no
it was
feeling like that.
It was awesome.
Fuck.
And then getting up on stage and like just rocking the first song, and like once we got into it, I think the biggest song, like people were singing our songs, which was kind of crazy. Like I didn't expect that. But really, once we did the Portishead cover, because we do Glory Box by Portishead, and once we did that song, like people were singing, and it was crazy. It was so crazy.
Right on. We can get out of that Instagram now.
Yeah, well, I mean, since you're on that, that's my next news, dude.
Oh yeah, man. Promote away.
Yeah, so we kind of just announced that that's our tour coming up. That was like the next big news after the Meow Wolf show, was we're going to be going on tour with the homies in the Homebody. So we called it the Homie J tour.
Dude, amazing.
Yeah, so the next one will be Sister for Willa J is going to be at Sister in Albuquerque. That's with Sweet Roll. They're opening up for us. I'm not quite sure how the lineup's going to go. I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be Sweet Roll, then Willa J, and then Homebody.
At Sister Bar, that's a good bar, bro.
It's awesome, dude. I've never actually played there myself, so
No?
I'm really stoked to
It's
get
cool.
on that stage.
It's nice.
Yeah, I hear it's super cool. I've been to shows there. I just saw Surprise Chef there last Thursday. They're like a super cool instrumental, like, I don't know, like kind of jazz, but like trip hop sort of vibes. I don't know. Super cool.
Do you go out to watch other musicians a lot? Just
If-
like in your spare time?
Yeah, if I'm not playing, dude, I love being at shows. Like,
Okay.
I just live, eat, breathe music, dude. Like
You
anything.
you think that's important for networking and stuff?
Yeah, I more so do it for like, I mean, yes, but like to me, it's more like to gather inspiration, see what other people are doing and like what I can do different and try to gain kind of just more knowledge and into that. I also like just keeping a pulse on like the scene in Albuquerque, like, which to say since I started doing this, I feel like has already grown a bunch.
Yeah, and a lot of that could be, you know, just a slightly different generation coming up. A lot of it could be like coming out of the lockdowns, people craving that social interaction in groups. But I think a big part of it in Albuquerque too is there's a lot of out-of-state license plates that I'm seeing around town. A lot of poor people from other states are moving here because
Yeah.
it's cheaper. So
Yeah.
that entails a lot of young people.
That would make sense.
So yeah, a lot of people. It is changed. It wasn't as nice like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
It's harder to do.
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, my first tenure like into the scene in Albuquerque was like right out of high school. I graduated in 2015, and I was in a band called Daybreak. I think we might have talked about it the last time, but like back then, dude, like nothing was happening. I feel like it was starting to come up, and then boom, COVID. It was like
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
it.
Paul, can I get a little more volume in my mic, not gain? Or does it sound even in your headphones? Because it might be.
It sounds good to me,
Okay,
but
cool.
I mean,
Right on.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I slid you up a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's nice. And there's a sparkling water there for you if you want
sick.
to.
Yeah, I'll make the transition when I'm done with this one.
Yeah. Dude, so in between these amazing shows, you're got some other stuff planned, right? You're heading out?
For tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I want you to let people know, man.
Yeah, dude. So I think some of these dates, all of the dates are correct, but I think some of the venues have changed. I can pull up a current list, but let me do that real quick. I should have prepared this. So I think
That is
the
awesome.
715 Club in Denver. No, that's still right.
Tell them, not me.
Yeah, I'm looking at this because I have to. I have to interpret this. I don't.
Oh,
really,
fuck.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I've seen the calendar on his phone as he made an appointment for this podcast.
it's
He's
so
a busy
dumb,
man.
dude.
You're
I
a
hate
busy
it.
guy, dude.
It's here. I'll give you a peek.
Yeah. I don't know if the camera can see it.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know
just
if
like
we
a
can zoom
full-ass-
in, but it's pretty ridiculous. It's so dumb.
What's it like being that busy?
Honestly, it looks probably busier than it actually is. I have all my payments and stuff in here too, so it's like I have like this is due this day, my car insurance and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I mean, still, like I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Usually, like 5 days out of the week are like pretty music related. Usually rehearsals and like gigs on the weekends. I was kind of talking to your girl earlier, and she was kind of asking about it. And yeah, I mean, like that was one thing that came up. Like it's just like it's more rare for me to have no gigs on a weekend than to have a full weekend.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Dude, that's ideal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I wouldn't have it any other way. It was a little overwhelming for a while. I had to learn to say no and kind of pick and choose what I really wanted to be a part of. But I think I've got a good balance right now. I'm very satisfied with what's coming.
How do you say no? How do you know what to say no to?
So a lot of the advice that I've gotten from kind of people in my circle would be like there's a triangle, and basically like it's about either a good hang or good music. Those are kind of like together, good pay, or whether it's going to advance your career. So it has to check out 2 out of those 3 in order for you to be like, okay, this is worth my time, worth me investing into.
So you said triangle. It's a good shape. So you said good pay, good hang, and what was the last one?
Good hang and good music, and then the last one is like whether it's going to do something for your career.
Okay. Yeah. Like,
So like
social
advancement, I
networking.
guess. Yeah, maybe that. I think also like for me, like So one of these ones that I took recently was with a dude named Ezra. Also, Ezrock is his like artist name. But that gig, I was on with some dudes that are just phenomenal musicians. Carlos Valera and Thomas Primozic were like his other backing musicians. Some of the best dudes in town. And that for me, like getting to play amongst like just phenomenal dudes, like that helps your career. I mean, it levels you up because you're associated with those people. And then the music too was even like, I guess it's kind of R&B, soul, hip hop, kind of a mixture of all of them. But definitely a style that I'd never like tried to take on. And so having to learn like some weird jazz chords and stuff like that, just stuff I'd never played before, I think that helps to advance also. But yeah, even like connections and stuff like that, I think that all is kind of entwined in that kind of category.
So like when you're playing with these high level musicians, what are the thoughts in your head? Is it more like a anxious or more of excitement? Is
it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I think it has to be. I think it really, really has to be. To me, I don't know, playing with those dudes, it was like I was very nervous. Our first rehearsal.
Did you throw up?
I didn't throw up for that one, no. But the gig that we did play, I was super, super nervous for that too, because that was a gig in Santa Fe at the Plaza, and it was for like it was a Juneteenth celebration, and so like the Plaza was packed. I mean, there was vendors everywhere. I can't really get a good estimate, but I'd say probably like 2,000 people just in like passing.
Dude, that's what's up, bro.
It was awesome. It was
Hell
super,
yeah.
super awesome, but it's so overwhelming for me.
Was it like a big setup stage, or you were like?
So
just
it's
on
like the main stage in like the center of the plaza, and then like I said, like there's vendors and stuff like surrounding us, and there's just stuff happening. It takes place in like the whole plaza downtown Santa Fe. I can't say that there were 2,000 people there for like our set, but like probably throughout the day and like in passing, like I said, it was pretty crazy. I think that was probably the biggest like one that I'd done until Meow Wolf, maybe, like as far as like people there for our set. Like,
I mean, yeah, you can genuinely compare those in passing thousands to a room full of like laser focus on you.
yeah,
Sometimes those smaller ones are just better.
I think it's all about energies at that point. Like I think like that small crowd, like although it was smaller, it was like just the I don't know, there's a vibe, dude, like because people are so in tune and focused on what you're doing, like that gives you energy. It just carries something, because there's a connection there. And like even like before the show, there were some like teenagers, one of them that I went to high school with, and I didn't even know until after he was like, oh yeah, you went to Cleveland.
Teenager?
Well, no, I guess not.
I mean, I want whatever this kid's taking.
No, yeah. I don't know how old he was, but like they were younger.
Right.
So like I would have been probably getting out on like while he was in, but he was also with teenagers. So I'm not sure like the correlation there, but
hopefully 18 and up.
probably, I don't know. But it was an all ages show, so there's
Really?
yeah. Anyways, yeah, but like I was talking to them beforehand, and like that fueled me a little bit because I was able to like tune into him, and like he was front row there for our set, and he was also a musician. I wish I could remember his name. He followed me on Instagram, but yeah, talking to him, like it was honestly inspiring, like seeing people that like, I don't know, to me, like I'm not a big deal. Like it's just like I'm just here to play some music and go home. Like that's kind of my thing. But to him, like I'm a pro. And so that to me is like, I want to put on the best show that I can and be that inspiration for him in the same way that he inspires me. Like, I think it's a mutual exchange.
Now do kind of the placement you kind of said where he visualizes you as the pro and you're kind of, from your point of view, you're just there hanging out. Do that for yourself too, because maybe he's only thought the highest he can go is where you're at.
Sure.
But you shoot for Mars and maybe you'll end up on the moon.
Yeah.
And then you're still on the moon. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm phrasing it pretty poorly, but you're basically what he might be able to imagine himself doing. But I always tell people imagine the biggest thing you can.
Sure.
Like, what's the biggest show you've ever imagined playing? Is it a Super Bowl? Is it a Red Rocks? Is it the most viewed guitarist on YouTube in 2027?
Nah.
Anything like that?
I don't know. Well, like, to me, like, I guess for me in my career so far, like, I've just kind of pictured like realistic goals. So like my next one to me, which like maybe those are realistic goals eventually. I don't know. But like to me right now, like my next goal would probably be like South by Southwest.
Perfect,
and
dude.
like Austin City Limits. Like get on a festival, honestly, would probably be the next one. Going on tour was my next one before that. So that's about to come to fruition. So I'm like, I don't know, slowly checking them off.
Honestly, you're doing a pretty intelligent strategy, because attainable goals, those ones you can actually do every time, even if it's like a small one, it's a win.
Yeah.
And you start racking up those wins, and you're proving to you and your subconscious mind that you actually are doing and can do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you could do a Super Bowl show by the time you're you see
I
what
would
I'm
love
saying?
to, dude.
See what I'm
That's crazy though. That's like way far-fetched for me right now. But also Meow Wolf was that for me last year. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like back then it was like Meow Wolf was the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
here you are.
taking guitar lessons from a dude who's like doing that right now. His name is Nicholas Vainoglo, and he's like the donut doctor or something on Instagram is like his like teaching. I don't know. But he's playing right now huge festivals, like going on tour and doing the whole thing. He's like on tour more months out of the year than he is home. And like that to me, I read his book. It's called The Musician's Handbook or something like that. The guide to, I don't know, it's something like that. But I just read that recently, and that was full of details on just like how to get good gigs and how to maintain them, and like the audition process, and like making sure you take care of yourself with like W-9s and like that sort of like the financial details that like honestly don't get talked about a lot.
Musicians are real touchy about the music, the money. For
Yeah,
some reason.
and
maybe
it's-
not so much rappers, but like the rock and roll guys.
Yeah, I mean,
Lord.
but it's something that you have to think about. And like going into this, I had never, I don't know, for me, like money had always kind of came, I mean, not necessarily secondary, but like I cared more about the music at first. Now I'm realizing they kind of go hand in hand. And like at that level, like it's, you really got to take care of yourself, like with lawyers and stuff like that. And insurance, like that's something I never thought. But like people get gear stolen like every day, dude. So like, especially out here, unfortunately. But
Yeah, don't tell no one where the studio is.
yeah, no. But insurance, like you can get all of your stuff insured, and that's something that I learned from him. So like seeing someone that like is kind of started in a position that I did, where like he was just kind of a hired gun, kind of just doing it for fun, and then like really turning it into a huge career that he's like on these world tours. It's like, okay, that's actually an attainable goal.
Absolutely.
Like,
If they
kinda
can,
crazy.
if they can do it, you can too. And you know him, so you're one degree of person from that reality of playing festivals.
Yeah.
All this stuff is insured, by the way.
Well, it's super important.
You got to cover your bases.
Yeah, I had never thought to like really prioritize that. But then like now that I'm seeing like people are getting stuff stolen and like out on the road, I don't know like what it's going to be like, but
Air tags, you can, if you're on the road,
Yeah.
maybe like you can get those. I mean, 10 years ago they weren't a thing, but you get those little
Mhm.
Apple Air tags and hide them inside the equipment. So if it does get stolen, you know exactly
My
where
friend-
those
so-
motherfuckers are.
yeah, Hugo Ruiz from the Mango Cakes, he has air tags on literally everything, dude. Like I was like, man, that's
Good
such a good
shit.
investment. He was like, yeah, my
Yeah.
wife bought them for me like for my birthday, and now I just put them on everything. So
I mean, how do you have to charge them? I don't really know anything.
I don't know. I think it has some sort of, I don't know, some kind of device that you just stick it on,
Yeah.
and that's it,
It's
dude.
good to
I
go.
think, I don't know if you have to charge them or not, but I know he like sent me some like 3D printed like holders for them that like you can stick on like your pedal boards or like in your guitar cases, and
dope.
yeah.
That's so,
so
cool.
yeah, it's a good looking out for sure.
Yeah, man. I think you're closer to the festivals than you realize.
I do think South by Southwest will happen next year. I
Yeah,
think.
just get your jump start on it because those
Yeah.
applications are like 6 to 9 months. Before
Yeah, we
that,
already. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
ahead of it. We've applied. We've sent in the interview or whatever their process is. Willa, I should say. I'm not doing anything. She takes care of everything, but she's done all that. So hopefully, next year they're looking at us, and if not, then maybe the following year. I don't know. We'll see what comes. But yeah, I think that's like the next attainable goal for us is like get on a festival, at least with that band.
5 years ago, my brother and I looked into making a festival here in Albuquerque. My brother hit up some of the angel investors about like who might want to invest in it, and it came to the point where we realized like, hey, we're way in over our heads.
Yeah.
I heard at some point, oh, Chance the Rapper did it in New York. I could probably do it in Albuquerque. Not quite. There's a lot of stuff like insuring the park, like in case people get in accidents, is probably one of the biggest fees, but it could be done.
Yeah.
We looked into making a festival at a park. I hit up the city to get some info and see the regulations about outhouses.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I love thinking big, but sometimes I'm like way too high of a dreamer.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's a super cool just thought to even have your own festival, dude. What would you guys have called it?
Yeah, I don't even know what I would have called it. Yeah, I would have really thought about it. I would probably have been after, figuring out what the bills would have been. If like maybe it just that genre were the ones down, I might have named it something different.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
But I mean, hey, it's not an idea that I've abandoned,
Hey,
Someday, dude.
So maybe someday.
this man has a dream.
Yeah, Paul was talking about being a slumlord in Albuquerque.
Oh,
earlier
man.
Hey,
today.
everyone has their own aspirations in life. baby.
Building a bunch of tiny home communities and shit.
Yeah, dude.
So
It's a real thing.
I mean, other humans are doing it, so why can't we?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Yep. I think it's ambition and drive, I think, are the biggest things. Like when it comes to that, like you got to be driven.
What keeps you on your routine and schedule? How do you stay consistent? Are there methods you use? Things you take?
Calendar. I mean, just stick to the calendar. I mean, like my day to day is pretty routine. Like most of the mornings I'm home. Try to take care of the household stuff and take care of my wife, and then like
Oh, she doesn't take care of you?
she does.
Oh, okay.
She does. I'm very grateful for her, and to be able to do what I'm doing, I owe a lot to her, honestly, because she works full time. She works for Sandia National Labs, and she's doing very well there. So that kind of gives us a little bit of freedom gives me freedom to really pursue music and my passion.
Do you think if you, like this week, if you had a realization like, hey, we should move to Austin, do you think she'd follow your lead and just
yeah,
up and quit her job for you?
I don't know. Well, to her, I think she might even have the freedom to like work remote doing that. So I don't know. Like it would definitely be some logistics to look into, but I think she'd be open to it. She's always wanted to get out of Albuquerque.
Fantastic.
She's originally from LA, so like she's a big city girl.
Oh
Like,
yeah. I couldn't imagine being from LA and then being stuck here, man. That would be lame.
yeah, I think she misses parts of it, but also like
Yeah.
in the recent years, I think it's like we like visiting LA and not necessarily like we'd want to live there. But like maybe there's another city that we haven't been yet. We talked about it the other day. Like if we had the chance, like we would take like a month off of work and just like drive and visit every big city and see where we really want to plant roots before we move anywhere.
That is a fantastic idea.
Yeah, I think that'd be super, super cool. Obviously, I mean, we'd have to like save money for like a year and like plan it way in advance, but like I really would pursue that. I think that's a super cool idea.
Do you have like animals that
We have a couple dogs, yeah, so we'd have to figure that out, but
yeah. Yeah, that's tough.
yeah, they're brats too. So I don't know that we could have a dog sitter for a month. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe bring them with you.
Yeah, we'd have to work on logistics for sure. But I think that it is a realistic like possibility that we end up moving eventually. And if music takes me somewhere else, like I'm open to that. I'm not necessarily stuck, but
That's true. Well, that's the thing about being an entertainer too. If you do pop off, and when you pop off, you do things like you can tour, and then actually that's where, as far as the comedy scene goes, the comedians make the money on tour.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense.
Like
yeah.
if like for example, a comedian's got a year-long tour set up, and then he gets offered like a gig for a movie or something, that might be like a pay cut or something.
Sure.
But yeah, so with this tour that you do, is it kind of self-funded, or do you already have some fan bases that you pulled from data off Spotify? How did you decide on those cities? Because
So
can we bring that up, Paul, on the desktop screen too?
I think it's a little bit of convenience and a little bit of everything else. Originally, we were planning a West Coast tour. So not really West Coast. It was going to be like New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, California, and then back.
Cool.
So it ended up, the support that we had in LA, we just had some miscommunications on like dates and stuff like that. So we ended up kind of having to change it last minute.
Does sound like great support. Just play it.
They're cool, yeah. But it ended up just not working out. So we kind of threw something together where we were kind of staying close and like just a teaser, kind of, I don't know, test the waters on like touring and see what that kind of life. Because this will be like our first tour as Willa J. Homebody's veterans, they've done it before. They're all cool dudes, so they're gonna be great to go with. And they're all homies. Like we're all just friends. So I think it was a good kind of testing the waters, see how it's going to go. We were able to throw it together fairly easily. So now we've kind of just got all the details worked out and we're just ready to go, man.
Yeah, let's run down the list in the cities.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut you up some shorts that you can use.
Cool. Yeah.
So
yeah. So what month are we? This is going to be September.
Yeah. September 9th.
So September 8th, Sister Bar. We are coming to you. Sweet Roll is opening. We got Willa J and Homebody. It's going to be an awesome set. Awesome 3 sets. It's going to be a great show.
I'm going to try and come to that, my man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the ticket price on that?
I'm sure it's probably going to be $10. I'm not positive yet. I don't know if they've announced it yet.
21 and up?
This one is going to be 21 and up, yeah, because it's the Sister Bar. So, yeah, I don't think this is an all ages one. I think the next one, though, Colorado, Golden. We got Autumnal opening up for Willa J and Homebody.
Hell yeah. Is that a local Colorado band?
So that's a local band, yeah.
Nice.
I think the rest of them are, like, they're all local to that area.
House show. How does one find that address? You got to be in the club?
So we will, it's TBD. We will announce it when we get closer.
I wouldn't put that publicly.
Yeah.
I've had a house party crash before because friends advertise it on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of people from a different part of town and a different way of life came and they fucked shit up.
I believe it. Yeah.
It started into a brawl. They were breaking windows. People were losing teeth. I mean, I ended up with the severed tendon that night. They ended up like bringing out their guns and shooting and stuff. Luckily, no one got shot. But that night, I had brought my Chinese friend, and when I say Chinese, he was a foreign exchange student.
Ooh.
It was his first time in America. He barely spoke English, and he trusted me. He was my friend for like 2 or 3 weeks. I was like, yeah, man, let me show you a fucking real American party. And the guy brought a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And man, like, yeah, once it started getting crazy, he went to the back room, and then it got real crazy. He's like, what's going on out there? I'm like, just stay here. They're shooting guns. He's like, what?
Welcome to America.
Fucking welcome to it. He ended up like sneaking out and trying, because we were way up, like not way up, but we're like tramway up by the mountains and some trailers, and he was like trying to like get through the weeds and stuff. He had nowhere to go, but I was like, Sean, don't leave. I was like, I promise, man, this is thankfully all those people left.
Yeah.
It was definitely a hateful act by that group of people.
Yeah. I
felt so bad, man. I felt so bad for him.
That's a pretty stressful situation to be in for sure.
Yeah, man, that's one of the worst situations I've been in my entire life.
I bet it was
Yeah.
pretty terrifying, dude. I don't know. You got a lot to worry about that point.
Yeah, don't put that address of that show out there.
Yeah. So that one is TBD. It's definitely DIY, which I think is kind of the vibe that we wanted to go for this. Like, we want to just kind of make some roots, plant some roots, make some connections, and just get out there a little bit, check it out, see what we think about this life. But yeah, the next one, I think 715 Club got moved to Fort Collins.
Fort Collins.
Yeah, I'm not positive what the venue is for that one. I should have gotten all these ready, man.
It's all good. September 10th.
September 10th.
Just stay up to date with that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You guys will
follow the
pass the word.
socials. We'll keep you updated. The following one, that one is correct. Y Sound, Logan, Utah. We're coming. Willa J, Homebody. That one I think is just us unless they have local support, which cool. We'd love that.
You ever been to Logan, Utah?
I've never been. So I've been to the airport at Salt Lake City. That's about all I've done in Utah.
Okay.
Went to the
Doesn't count.
Starbucks at that airport.
I don't
Yeah,
think that counts.
it definitely doesn't count. So I'm excited to experience these states.
Nice.
Because we are doing the drive. It's going to be kind of a square. We're Four Corners, Southwest Four Corners area. The following, we got the International, Salt Lake City, Utah. Antelope Island. We are stoked for that one.
That's a good name.
Yeah,
That's a cool name.
super cool, dude. Their music's sweet too. The following, September 14th, The Hive in Flagstaff. That is going to be a great one too. With Fraud is the openers for us. Also another great gig we got on the lineup, dude. The last one, the last one we've announced so far, Fuck-yow, I think is how you say that.
Fuck how.
But it's like I looked into it because when they told me we were going to be playing at a pho restaurant, I was like, what? But dude,
okay.
it's super
legit-
pro.
Okay,
Like
hey, yeah.
they throw these huge events there. Huge local band supporters. It seems like a super cool spot. So I'm stoked for that one.
The Vietnamese, bro, are some of the funnest Asians. My friend. When I went to Vietnam, I had so much fun. No, they're friendly. They're nice. They're
Yeah.
open. They party, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could. Yeah, that makes sense to me. That'll be a fun.
I'm
one.
stoked. Yeah, I'm super stoked for that one. One Way Sky. Those are the openers for that one. Scottsdale. We are coming there too. And then the last one, the 16th. We have a hold on a few venues in New Mexico. But we'll be back home at that point. I'm not positive. We haven't announced that date yet or where we're going to be yet, but there's going to be a show the 16th also. So that's why we hadn't really said anything because we're trying to work out some details still. But
Wow.
the rest of the tour is planned and ready.
That you're gonna be busy. You're gonna be busy, man.
We're going to have a day off on the 11th.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So-
I didn't even notice. I was looking for a day in between. I was like, did they even give themselves? A
Yeah,
break?
no. So we're having a day off. We're going to, I think we got an Airbnb in Palisades, maybe.
And by the way, not playing a show on 9/11, good call. I don't know if you
Probably.
did that on purpose,
Yeah,
but good call.
No, I don't know. Yeah, it was out of respect. I'm
Out
gonna
of
say
respect?
that. Yeah, final
okay.
answer. Out of respect. I don't
Hey,
know.
Out of respect, that's fine too. Yep.
Yeah, dude. That's gonna be a good break for us. I think that's also Wyatt's birthday, who is the frontman for Homebody. So we're gonna try to celebrate and kind of just take some time in the middle of the tour.
Yeah, Wyatt's great, man. I want to get him on.
He's
I do. 'Cause
awesome.
I think you
So
said he was coming in September.
He'll be in town. He's here now. I think
for
he
this?
got here Saturday. So
Fucking A, bro.
I'll plug it in.
Yeah, I'll hit him up after this.
Yeah, cool.
We'll get him in.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He'd probably be down too. He's got a lot of free time.
Yeah, he's one of those guys too who's just super fun always. A lot of energy.
One of the nicest dudes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, I remember one of the first times I saw Wyatt play. What was it? Mountain Head was his band with Audrin. We were competing against them, and it was a fight for fiestas at the University of New Mexico. They beat us because
Okay.
they've been playing for about a couple years or whatever. But man, it was so entertaining to watch those two motherfuckers sweating and shit.
He is definitely a beast on stage, dude. Like, he's fun to watch. They all are. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a funny dynamic with Homebody because you have like Kendall, just the most reserved dude ever, and then Marshall also, who is also very, very reserved, but also like 6'11". I mean, dude's way bigger than any human should be allowed to be. But like seeing that dynamic on stage,
He's not that.
he's
tall,
not that tall. He's like probably like, I don't know, 6'5", 6'6". He's
Nah,
still
dude.
very, very tall.
Dude, you're Mexican. You're just short. Everyone's taller than you. I know, because I'm the same way, man.
It's facts. Yeah, that's facts. But he
Anyone-
is also extremely tall.
Yeah, anyone above 6 foot, you're like, fuck.
Whoa, yeah.
Maybe
Got to
one
take a
day.
picture. Yeah.
At least you got the beard going for you, man.
I can't grow a mustache though.
Really?
For the life of me, dude. I get like 4 hairs in each corner. I don't know. Someday I'll get there. And then it's over. It's over for everybody. When I can grow a
That's-
mustache, it's over.
That's so interesting. Why do you think that is?
Genetics, I'm guessing. I don't know. Yeah.
Huh.
Everybody on my mom's side of the family, like every male, like from my understanding, couldn't really grow facial hair. My uncles and stuff, but I don't.
And I think your facial hair growth comes from the maternal
The
side
maternal,
of
yeah.
the genetics. I think where it comes.
That's also head hair, I'm hoping, because my
Yeah.
dad went bald at 17, dude. So I'm like,
But there's also a correlation. The more facial hair you're able to grow at the young age, the less hair you'll have on your head at an older age.
really?
I think so.
'Kay.
And it's extra testosterone. Have you ever measured your testosterone? No.
Probably scared too, honestly. I don't
You're
know.
scared too? Paul and I, we're gonna make another podcast, not Riches and Rags, man. But if you want in, we're gonna be measuring our testosterone and making a bet on it,
Okay.
and then we're gonna have like 33 days to do whatever except TRT replacement to increase it, just for fun. I think because I'd like to know. I think it'd make good videos. So if you want in, if you're scared of it,
I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. I don't even know what that really like correlates to. I don't know. I got like chest hair, so like I probably got a decent amount. I don't know.
would say, yeah, based on your facial hair and like the amount of energy you've got, your testosterone is probably.
I hope so. I don't know.
But
Yeah.
I think it's just curious to know, right? Just learn about yourself.
I don't know.
Right?
Sometimes I'd rather live in like naivety. I don't know.
Why?
Sometimes it's better not to know. Then you're not worried about something that you can't control, you know? Maybe that specifically you can control or at least help, but I don't know. Sometimes I'd rather not know.
What other things would you rather not know? Like if I could calculate the date of your death.
No way.
You wouldn't want to know
No,
that?
I wouldn't want to know. Because then I'm going to be worried about that till that day.
Why?
Why? Because I know I'm expiring that day, so I got to get everything. That's like a due date, bro. Like, don't
But
give me a due date.
You're expiring anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather not know.
Yeah, but why? I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just curious.
Because I feel like at that point, like, I would be like more concerned that like I didn't do everything that I wanted to do. I think at that point, like if I knew that I was gonna die soon and like I wasn't able to accomplish everything, I'd just probably be depressed until that happened, and then I'd probably lose drive to do anything at all. At least personally, I don't know.
So, I get it. I get it. Okay. So it's the maybe it's today keeps you motivated.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I just don't think about it.
I don't think death is real, man. I don't think it's real, man.
I mean, we are all going to expire at some point. What happens after? That's the question mark, right?
Is it a question mark? 'Cause
I think
feel
so.
like we all know real deep down. I feel like we all know. You're
Once
here
you go,
already.
you go, or what do you mean?
I've never died. Have you?
No.
So
I'm very much alive right now. Yeah.
Exactly. So you're here now, and by definition, something that exists can't not exist. Because by definition, non-existence doesn't exist. Because you already exist, it's absolutely impossible for you to not exist.
So then, I guess with that being said, like, what is death to you?
To me,
Mm-hmm.
an illusion.
Yeah.
It's where the shedding of the physical material realm, I think, kind of like, maybe like if you imagine like a bunch of powder on the ground and like you, boom, you slap your hands and the powder goes up. Maybe like dying is like when that powder kind of like settles again and then you can see clearly. You know, you wake up from a dream, you're like, oh, that felt real, but now this is the actual shit. This is more the essence, and I think it's just another level like that.
Sure. I think there's probably some truth to that. I don't know. I do believe that there's like a spiritual realm and like a physical realm. So like that would correlate. I mean, like once you die, your spirit.
We return to the Father.
Yeah.
Yeah. We return to the source of existence itself. Should we be worthy?
Sure. Yeah. That's a lot of religions and a lot of theologies summed up right there.
But you go to church though, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about the death? Do you think it's a real thing?
So I don't know. I think that's a tough question, and I also think it's a personal one, like for everybody that's going to answer that. To me, I think we talked about it a little bit last time I was here, but like I claim Christianity. I would claim to be a Christian. So for me, I believe that once I die, I'm going to meet God, right? Jesus. And he's going to tell me either I did good or I didn't. And at that point, I'll either make it to heaven or I won't. So for me, like that level of spirituality exists. But again, like it's going to be different for everybody. I think that's an answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, it's the answer. But
there's a specific verse that says, I don't know, because I'm not a very good Christian, but you know, through Jesus we've conquered death, or he says you've conquered death through me.
Mm-hmm.
Is there what verse is that? Can we look that up, or do you know that one?
I know which verse you're talking about. I don't know specifically where it's
I
at.
just want to see. I'll let you type it in, Paul.
Say it again?
It just type in Bible verse, conquered death through Jesus. I think
Through the grave is probably the.
conquer death through the grave. Well,
But I think that's specific to Jesus conquering death.
Well, we gotta listen to his words, right? Because what he said. But yeah, he conquered death. What was he doing for 3 days down there?
So, if I remember correctly, he banished Satan to hell, and was reconvening in heaven, I think is how that worked, and then came back to conquer the grave, came back to life, and removed the stone. And for me, that's what happened in those 3 days. I wasn't there. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's wild. But reality is much more wild than anything you could ever imagine.
Yeah, dude, I'm living it. It's crazy.
But yeah, man, the more that you lean into your faith, you feel like the more the doors of just start opening up for you in life.
So I would say I don't know. I would say in some extents, yes. And I'm not sure if that's like God opening doors or like the power of belief, or manifestation. I really don't know. But I would say, yeah. And maybe it's even just like having a positive attitude, you know, which I think comes along with all of that. If you're doing it right. I think my biggest like gripes about like maybe faith and religion in general is like, I don't know how far off from like the original concept we really are, especially in America. Like
The concept of what?
Of what the faith originally was intended to be. You know, in Christianity, it's like it wasn't founded in America, and it's been translated. The Bible's been translated. Like I think that's the basis of like Christianity, right? Is the Bible. So like, how far off from the original text are we? I don't know. I can't really say. I can tell you that I've been a part of churches all my life, and like it's mostly a business.
That's a true fact. Yep.
Yeah, and I mean like that to me is a real turnoff. Like,
so not sexy for a church, man.
Yeah, dude, it really turns me off to religion. Because I don't believe that we should be in the market for people. You know what I mean? I think that pushing the ideals and like telling the story of what happened, I think that's more important than trying to get people to pay their tithe. And, I guess it's kind of a cycle, right? Because you get people to tithe so that they can help support the church so that eventually you can continue spreading the message, right? Spreading the gospel. I think that that's like the overall goal. But I don't know how much of that stuff gets pocketed. I don't know how much of that stuff is like taken advantage of, And
I think, and I have a small answer, and it's just my opinion from stuff I've looked into. There's a everything that you see in Christianity is bastardized in an upside down way by the Satanists. They like to turn the cross upside down and stuff. So there's a holy trinity in Christianity, but there's also an earthly holy trinity, and that's what they use to control the world. It's the GO network, G-O. You got the government, God, and gold. So you got finance, the religious, and the governmental sectors. And that's the trinity that all kind of they use to control the masses. And I think that the body of Christ, the church of Christ, is decentralized like cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
It's like each individual living by example, right? And I think that, just some institutions like schools and churches have just been compromised by people in power.
Sure.
Not to say that all churches are bad, but like on huge mass levels, when you see people like Joel Osteen.
Oh yeah,
like that's not a good example,
no.
is it? I mean, come on.
And that's a real prime example of like money and business taking over the individual, and like that's the goal, because he's a finance preacher, like he's all about self-fulfillment and like how you're going to do better if you believe in Christ, that you're going to be successful. And I think that maybe that's an ideal that we can get along with, but I don't think that that's like with God comes money. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that that's a proper assessment. I don't know. And to me, like him being so filthy rich, and then like it all comes down to that event during the hurricane, right? Where like his church, like
which event?
It was a hurricane and it flooded his church in Houston, right? Because he pastors a huge mega church in Houston. It came down to it where people were just lost, homeless, really, displaced because of this hurricane and floods, couldn't live in their own homes anymore. He has this giant facility in Houston, and people were asking for help, really calling for help. And he denied them all.
Bro, he's not going to have a good conversation on Judgment Day. Here's what I think, man. I think we're all humans, and we all play this story together, and it's like a collective consciousness. I'm you, you are me, not at the same time, but we all have the opportunity for the universe to shoot that spirit into another body. So I think, for example, like Joel Osteen might reincarnate as all those people who needed help, and then how many lifetimes is that? 100, 200? 200 lifetimes of struggling might feel like an eternity to a soul.
Sure.
And then each life that you're in there can split off that many more times, and it becomes infinity real quick. You rack up a lot of karmic debt real quick.
Sure.
Stay on that wheel.
Sure.
So I don't know. That's my personal belief. That's my personal opinion. That it's the only thing that makes sense to me. Is that people are gonna just be cycled around. And
I mean, like that kind of specifically is a Bible verse where it says like you reap what you sow, right? And that's like karma, right?
Actually,
in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So
that's a good connection.
Yeah, I mean, like it's. I believe there's reality to a lot of like theology in general. Kind of really doesn't matter on what religion, and a lot of them exist in like coexistence, right? Like, I mean, Islam, like there's a lot of parallels between Muslims and Jews and Christians. Like,
absolutely. Man.
They all have a lot of bases. It's really the theology gets separated in certain specific things, but there is a lot of parallels in all that. So I'm not surprised if that was to be the case. I don't know. I really don't have good answers for any of that. But like to me, I think it should be more about morality. And when we talk Joel Osteen again, like just that specific instance is enough for me to be like, okay, he turned away all these people, and like the basis of a Christian is like to be a good person, right? Like you would think that that's the case, and like if for him to deny all those people, it's like
a good person, like by example, right?
Sure,
so, like,
yeah.
The goal of a Christian is not to go around saving people,
I mean,
Because I think that might be where we get a sticky problem with the evangelism and stuff.
right, and maybe that's the case for some, that they believe that that's the ultimate purpose is to save people. I think that maybe that is the case. Maybe that is the case that you should always be wanting to save people, because it is a sad thought, people living in eternity in hell where they're tormented. I don't think that sounds good at all. So maybe that is the ultimate goal, is to save as many people as possible.
I don't think I could ever save anyone because I needed the saving myself, right?
Sure.
So it's like, I can't really do that for you.
Yeah, I don't
Show
know.
you evidence and you
To
do with it
me,
what you will.
yeah, to me as an individual, it's like, okay, I want to be a good person. I want to lead by example. I want people to see that what I'm doing is good. And if they choose to live a life like mine, like, then they're not living a bad life, I think. Like,
Yeah.
and I think ultimately that's like, my dad has always said this, because my dad was a pastor when I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
he's always said, like, when he dies, like, if everything he believed was wrong, at least he knows he lived a good life, and like he lived a righteous life and did the best he could, And so to me, like, I try to think like that in that specific instance, that like, at least I lived a good life, and I did my best, and I was a good example, hopefully, and people were able to look at that.
Yeah, just like that guy who approached you after your Meow Wolf show. Yeah, it really does, help people, and they see you and stuff. Absolutely.
I hope so. I gave him some guitar picks and like sent him on his way.
Nice. Did you ever come up with some struggles or any rough patches that, like, real trenches, real lows that you had to get through?
In life?
Yeah, just in general.
More than I can count, dude. Like, honestly.
And you don't have to divulge like the specifics, but like, what do you do to like get out of it, or do you just ride through it and let time fix it?
I don't know. I've been through a lot of that kind of stuff. I would say faith has a little bit to do with it. Believing in something.
Believing in something.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger than yourself.
Bigger than myself. Yeah, of course.
How much bigger than yourself? If I'm on the edge, and how big does that thing bigger than me have to be to keep me off the edge? Does it have to believe in the whole universe, or can it just be that maybe I could?
Maybe it's the next day. Believing in the next day, and what that you have another day of life. I mean, I've been deeply depressed and anxious in my life at points in my life, and
especially before your shows.
Yeah, that's anxiety. That ain't necessarily depression. But
what the hell is it? It's a tramadol. What is it's an anti-queasy medicate. I don't know. You can take it. It's not tramadol. It's
the one you take, like Dramamine.
Dramamine.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. You ever try that?
I've not. My
Works
wife
like a
takes
charm.
it before like plane flights.
Works
so,
like a charm.
yeah.
But yeah, how do you get out of those states? Believing in something?
Yeah, I mean, I think that has a lot to do with it. Drive. I mean, I have people around me that like are helpful to that, like my wife. Like, I see a therapist once a week, and that's super helpful to me. I think everybody should go to therapy.
Is your therapist a man or a woman?
She's a lady, yeah.
Oh, so
Very nice,
you trust a woman with your thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
I don't know. I just think if you have a therapist and you're a man, you should be a man. And if you're a therapist, if you're a woman, your therapist should also be a man.
Oh.
That's just my opinion.
Okay. Why do you think that?
Because I think men are better at detaching the emotions from things, and they're able to give you more logical advice without getting as invested.
Sure.
Whereas a woman might try and empathize with you and reinforce what you've got going on.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I could see some logic in that. But to me, like, my therapist is able to set me straight. If I'm thinking wrong, she'll definitely tell me. Like, I don't know.
Is she younger or older than you?
She's older than me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Probably, I don't know, late 40s, maybe mid 40s. I don't know.
Would you trust a therapist younger than you?
Maybe. If they're, like, educated. I mean, like, obviously that's a realm of, like, knowledge that I don't possess. So if they're educated enough, and, like, even maybe not at that point, if I can trust them well enough, and they got good advice, probably. I don't know.
Is therapy something that should end? Is it something we should graduate from?
So I'm kind of on the fence about that. So like me personally, I wouldn't have an issue seeing a therapist for the rest of my life, because I think that that's a good like leveling ground, really, where it's like, okay, it just gives you an outside perspective on like what's going on in your life, right? It gives you something else.
It is an outside perspective, but it's extremely intimate stuff.
Sure.
That you might only share with someone if you didn't have a therapist, like maybe just only your partner, right?
Sure. I mean, I think that's even part of it, though, like an insight into relationships. And maybe it's not a romantic one. Maybe it's friendships and stuff like that. I think that just having like that outside perspective is helpful, because it takes you outside of your box. So I personally wouldn't have an issue going to therapy for the rest of my life. Maybe it's like once a month check-in, you know, kind of just say like, hey, this is what's up. Everything's good. Like maybe I have one problem that I want to talk about. I don't know. I don't think that you should have to be in the trenches to go and get some perspective.
You don't think that you should have to be in the trenches to get perspective?
Yeah.
Or the therapist?
Me personally, like, okay. yeah. I think that like my thing where it's like, okay, this should probably end is like with medications. So like I've been on antidepressants before. I'm not currently, but I have been in the past.
I was gonna say you look really healthy. I would bet you're not on them.
Yeah, not anymore. I was though for a good portion of my adult life. I've been on them.
Did a therapist prescribe those to you?
Yeah, recommends them because like it takes a psychiatrist to actually prescribe.
Okay. Do you think those antidepressants made things worse or better?
At that point in my life, better for sure. But I also think that like at some point, like you should be able to live your life without some kind of numbing agent, because that's really, to me, that's what they are, is they numb a portion of your brain that you're feeling. Maybe it's a chemical imbalance. Maybe it's, I don't know, feelings that you really shouldn't have. I mean, I don't know. I don't think people are meant to be sad. Like
you don't think it's a normal thing to be sad?
I think it's a normal thing to feel sad. I don't think it's a normal thing to be sad all the time.
But don't you think if someone's sad all the time, it's just an indicator that maybe they're doing wrong things? Maybe
they've had wrong things done to them. But I don't think that really should determine like if you should be on medication for the rest of your life. You know, I think that they should be used for balancing. I think that life is about balance, right? Like I think you should,
yeah, absolutely.
You should definitely like. It's even like with the conversation of like medical marijuana, right? It's like, I believe, I know people and have been in the past, like someone who really, really used marijuana and abused it. And I think that like there is a common ground there that like it can be very, very helpful and medicinal, and that it can be really, really good for you. But there's also an extreme. I think that life is extremes. Like you don't want to ever be on, my therapist says that it's like a road, right? So you don't ever want to be on one side of the road for too long, too far on the other side, because then you go off the road, right? So it's all about kind of staying in the middle.
Yeah, you sound a lot like my Uncle Val. Yeah, and he's an old guy who's made it through life and succeeded in many different realms, and so like the mentality you've got is pretty solid. It resembles a lot. We've done a lot of episodes with him too.
Sure, yeah, I think I've seen him before.
He talks a lot about the balance and everything in moderation. So, but I like that. I mean, hey, it's good that the stuff they prescribed helped you, and I think it was also good that you graduated from those things too. I
agree. Yeah, mm-hmm. I think that it was super, super helpful at a period of my life.
Do you ever believe you'll be strong enough to manage your own mind as a man?
Like without the use of a therapist, you mean?
Any crutches, therapist, or drugs, or like just you.
Yeah,
like
I think
not to your wife or
sure
more in a stoic sense.
I like to think
Keep
that
it all in.
I like to think that there is a balance there, that like you should be able to do that on your own. However, I don't think that it's necessarily unhealthy if you do have outlets. But I do think that like again, it's a moderation thing. There's a lot of coping mechanisms, some healthy, some not. So
what are some of those unhealthy coping mechanisms, in your opinion?
In my opinion,
you listed like the overuse of marijuana.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that.
Well, sure. I mean, dude, I've been there. 100%. I just think that, like, to me, when you have to rely on that, like, you wake up and the first thing you do is that, and, like, you can't do anything else until, like, you're relying on a substance. You're not relying on your own volition to do stuff.
Yeah, see, I'm not quite that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotten to the point I just don't care. I'm busy and stuff. I
Sure.
like to go to the glass of water first.
Sure, yeah. And that's a healthy thing,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Water, like, you need water to sustain life. You don't need weed to sustain life.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey,
Um,
I do.
and no judgment to anybody that does. Like, I think it's a medicine, right? So I think that, like, weed specifically, I think is a medicine. I think that some people need more than others.
You don't think it's a distraction from the devil?
Maybe. I don't know.
If it can be harmful in its overuse, and then it's not a bad thing?
Maybe, but I do think that, like, it's a plant, and if we're thinking in Christian mindset, right, like, God created plants, so, like, why couldn't it be used to help?
It should be there for a reason. Or
Yeah.
Potentially, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, with that theology in mind, like, yeah, it's ultimately it should have a use and a good one. I think it's the overuse or the abuse of it that's the problem, not necessarily the use. But the same could go for, like, alcohol, right?
That little thought that it's like, oh man, I'm stressed. Give me that. I need a cigarette or pop a beer or
Yeah.
That little thought right there. That's kind of where it's the bad.
Maybe it is.
Coping.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some other negative coping mechanisms?
Well, okay, so let's take it away from substances.
Yeah,
let's
take it
think
out of
about
there.
like
Get this pothead out of the drug.
so let's think about, like, okay, even emotion, right? So, like,
yeah, okay.
holding it all in, unhealthy. That's an unhealthy coping mechanism. You should be able to release a little bit of that, and you should be able to talk about it. It's healthy for you to talk about your emotions.
Okay, yeah. Well, here's a trick question: is there a good way to get that stuff out without talking to anybody? Are there ways to channel that?
I think so. I mean, for me,
think so.
music.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's music. Like,
Lyrics,
when I'm
poetry.
playing, I'm using, 100%. That kind
Yeah.
of stuff. It's just outlets,
Journaling.
dude. Like, creative or not. I mean, to me, it's creative because that's kind of how my brain works. Music. I can be super emotional on a stage. Even not with nobody watching, when I'm home alone, like, playing guitar, whatever it is, making music. Like, to me, that's an outlet that's healthy. Nobody's affected by that. Maybe they are on stage. Maybe they are. You know, maybe that shines through, and that's an expression of myself. But when I talk, like, personally at my house, and I'm, like, making a song, or even just playing guitar for myself, like, just to get it out, like, that's a healthy outlet, I would say.
So would dancing be one of these ways?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
What about twerking?
I mean, I don't know. That twerking originated from, like, Africa, right? So that's, like, an African, like, traditional dance that I think has become modernized and turned into something else. But maybe, I don't know, maybe someone wants to go out and twerk their feelings away. Like, who am I to judge, bro? Like, you do your thing. I don't care. That's yours to do.
Right on, man. Okay, so we got keeping it all in, but not letting any of it out. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that because I do think there's got to be flow state. There's got to be, because stuff comes in all the time, whether it's from advertisements or people telling you their stuff or just anything. You got to release it somehow.
Sure.
So using, also holding it all in. What's another negative coping mechanism maybe?
Negative coping mechanism. The other extreme, right?
So
lashing out.
Only venting all the time.
That's
being a whiny little beta bitch.
not healthy.
Oh man.
Not
Okay.
healthy.
Yeah, that's not healthy at all.
I don't know,
That's
man.
one of the things I'm working on, because I mean, my job's not like a bad job, but if it's like something annoying happens, it's like I gotta try and remind myself. It's not necessary to tell my girl that. Like, she don't need to know anything. But I mean, it often I just tell her in conversation, but it's not like I shouldn't be relaying that. Oh, this person canceled that appointment today. I should just tell her, hey, yeah, it was a good day. It was a normal day.
Yeah. I think
That's something I'm working on, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, not everybody needs to know everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
However, there are people that you should be able to trust, and maybe not, but I think that you should be able to open up, and I think that that's healthy. I think that is one construct that like gender really plays a role in, where like I don't think that males are properly equipped, at least in my experience, to really open up the way they should.
I mean, do they get help in society for it? Like, if there's a man crying in public, is anyone going to stop to help him?
I don't know.
Fuck no.
No.
Yeah,
They've done experiments. No. If there's a grown man crying in public, people don't help. What about a woman?
Probably.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a woman in nature, in the natural societal construct, is helped when she opens up like in this emotional manner.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore she's rewarded, maybe not like rewarded, but her problems are taken seriously. People will come to the crying woman. So she thinks that's good advice to give to a man. And if there's a man crying in public, he's not. No one's going to care. They might even think that something might be up and he might flip like that. And so people will actually avoid that man. So there's different, I mean, yes, I agree, like getting it out and being open to in certain ways is healthy, but not in the same way as a woman, if that makes sense.
I mean, I don't know. I'm all about,
That's my opinion.
let's normalize male emotion and the expression of male emotion healthily. Same for any other gender or person. Like, they should be able to express themselves and feel okay doing that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the evolved state of expressing that is through art.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you can focus that emotion enough into some sort of art, whether it's paint or videography or music or writing a book or even ranting to a camera. Some people are really good at that. Like, you might be really good at just venting your frustrations as long as you're not hateful, saying, let's, do this to those people. No, man, that might be the way to get it out. Maybe you get a huge audience and now you can make your money and now you're not stressful anymore.
Sure, yeah. I think that's a healthy outlet, maybe.
Venting to a camera?
Yeah, maybe.
Keyword maybe.
Yeah,
Keyword
if
maybe.
you need that and that works for you, like, who am I to say that you shouldn't do that?
I like that perspective.
It's a good perspective. Yeah, who are you?
I can't argue with that, sir.
That goes back to American, the Constitution, the idea of free speech.
Mm-hmm.
We should be able to say what we want without, losing our job for it or something like that. But you're in a good position because you can't, you're wiggling your way out of that workforce into being an entertainer full time. You get it, you figure out how to unlock those doors of, making the bills and monetizing. Dude, you got it, man. You're only going up.
I am excited for what's to come. I do feel like doors are opening, and I do feel like it's a good path right now. I'm just going to stick to it, man. I really love what I do. I love the people I'm surrounded with right now. You guys in Blot, Willa J.
Stuff,
I mean, yeah, it's a blast, dude. I'm loving everything that I'm involved with right now. I mean, even the gig at the church that I play, I like everybody in my life that I'm surrounded by right now is just doing great at keeping me up and keeping me honest and keeping me open to striving for more and trying to do better.
I appreciate your honesty here. I put you in the hot seat a little bit with those questions.
Nah, bro, I'm an open book. I don't have anything to hide.
Hell yeah, it's all respect here.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man, it's good stuff. He said we're at almost 2 hours.
Okay.
We can keep going because you still got a good time.
Yeah, I'm chilling whenever you got to call it though.
Okay. Let's hey Paul, hit that pause button on it real quick, and we'll just take a. Dude, good conversation so far, man.
Yeah, dude.
Here.
Okay.
And we're live.
Yeah, we're back on. Oh shit, is the camera out of focus?
Let me go to number 2.
Yeah, go to his camera real quick.
Good one.
Does he look a little blurry?
It looks good to me.
I don't like this feedback monitor.
There's
if you say it's
going
good,
through it though, there is like waves going through the screen that I'm
give me a
seeing right
second.
here.
We're gonna adjust this second, get back into it. So we were talking about Paul's first show. Sweeping, good smile. Oh yeah. Oh shit.
Hey.
Fuck yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Fuck it.
That square will go away, by the way. That's what we do before the episode, y'all. And then the square disappears, and then we start the shows and stuff. So right in that break, we were talking about the booth guy, Paul.
Great guy.
Yeah, man, he's fun. He was talking about how he was playing his first show in his backyard.
Yeah.
And I had a question for you, because I think he's at the point where he hasn't quite broken through that ability wall. And this is my question. Was there an ability wall at some point in playing the guitar? Like, definitely you didn't know how, but was there like a certain point where it just kind of clicked and you could just play what you needed to?
Yeah, so I think my answer to this would probably be aligned with like the Outliers theory. I don't know if you ever read, I had to read it in school, but it was Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell.
I'm
so
not familiar yet.
It basically talks about how 10,000 hours is kind of like the level that you reach, like a professionalism, or like you can do this competently, right? So whatever that might mean, 10,000 hours working electrical in the past, like I could become a journeyman at that point. Like I know how to wire something at that point. Now with guitar, I'd say like 10,000 hours. Okay, I can play guitar now. I think that kind of looks different for everybody. I think that maybe in this specific scenario, like having a real understanding of like theory, the major scale really, is probably the basis of all like maybe music theory.
So the new guitarists go look up that major scale.
I think the major scale is a great place to start, because I mean, once you learn the major scale, it's like, okay, then you can start getting into like modes, and then you can kind of break off into like the number system, which is basically just putting numbers on the major scale, and that kind of like helps to build chord patterns and recognize kind of notes and chords within a song. Like I think that the major scale is a great just foundation. I think everybody should be really familiar with it. In guitar, like when it comes to like improvisation and like soloing, getting super familiar with like the pentatonic scale.
Those are my two go-tos.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not a bad thing. There's a reason that like every solo ever uses the pentatonic scale, at least to some extent.
When you're soloing out, do you ever like put the two together?
Yeah. So I use a lot of modes. I would say probably the one that I use most probably is Mixolydian, which is really just a flat 7, right, of the major scale. So if you were to take your major scale, that last note that you play, you just move it down a half step, right? So that's flat. I use that a lot.
I don't know nothing about the Nickelodeon scales.
It probably sounds more complicated than it is. And that's where like having like a guitar instructor really like can help you level up faster, because they're able to show that to you.
There's a refrigerator scale too, right?
Yeah. I use it all the time. Keeps all my stuff, my solos cool, right? Yeah. I mean, it's how much do you know about all that stuff? Because I've tried looking into it, and it's like the first couple times I was like, nah, I'm just gonna keep playing. Sure. Enough to teach, but also like I'm a student, so I want to always learn more.
Now that is something that I definitely can get behind.
Sure.
Is having a mentor for sure, like with your skill, someone who's done it better than you.
Yeah. So, and there's always going to be someone better.
Oh, absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that like maintaining that level head and knowing that there's always something new to learn, I think that helps.
That was a question that actually I had in the earlier half, because you said you were taking lessons from him. What was his name?
Nicholas Vainoglo is his name.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Was the lessons, are they digital online?
Yeah.
Are they one-on-one in real time, or are they like videos?
So it's a little bit of both. With him, like he does basically like it's a subscription-based service. So like you do once a month, you pay, and then you get access to like a full archive of like instructional videos on like theory and like stuff like that. But also like he does a once a month like a master class where basically like he'll teach you in person.
That's one of the best business models for people who are very talented, who have also a teaching ability too. That's where I also did a piano course, very, very similar. Piano with Johnny.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
He advertised free lessons on YouTube, and I couldn't help myself. I had to buy that subscription, and man, it was worth it.
Yeah.
It had everything I wanted to know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I learned a bunch just from that so far. I'm right now, like, I'm still like going through like his first, because it's kind of based in like blocks, but like he's got right now I'm working on like triads across the fretboard, and like triads are basically just like 3 notes of a chord.
How do you remember everything?
What do you mean?
Because you were in 3 different bands, right? Or 4.
So I've only ever been in 2 bands at a time, like officially like a member. As a hired gun though, like I'll play with whoever wants to pay me, really.
So for Blot, what would you consider yourself?
Yeah,
a band member or
as long as Casey will have me, dude, I'm a member of Blot.
not a hired gun for.
No,
okay.
I love all you dudes. Like I'd love to play all those gigs as long as he'll keep having me. Like as far as I'm concerned, it's Casey's band.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's his band. That's what I think too.
As long as he'll have me, like I love playing with that dude. He's a great dude, super talented. Everybody in that band, dude, honestly, super talented. You included.
I love the shaker, man.
It's awesome. Yeah, it adds so much. Little things like that. So that was one thing that really impressed me with like Surprise Chef that I said I went to go see recently. They had one dude who was literally just like auxiliary percussion. He played at one point in the set, he had these 2 massive wine bottles, and he literally would just tap the wine bottle. But it added so much.
Wow.
Like he played
what did it sound like? Was it like a ring a long time, or was it more like a ting?
No, it was like a quick one. I don't know if there was like liquid in it, but like it was like a ting, like just kind of like
in my imagination they were upside down and empty.
Yeah, yeah, like he picked them up and he would like hit them.
Okay, it's interesting how I just visualized that. I imagine them hanging upside down, empty on a.
Yeah, he did have like chimes and stuff that he was playing. He played I don't know if it's a xylophone or one of those instruments with like the kind of bell sounding with like mallets he was playing. But yeah, I mean, but like all that to say, like those little kind of intricacies add so much to a set. Like it's a really cool thing to see. And so like having you on Shaker, like I think it's cool, dude. It's cool.
Yeah, so the
it's a cool element.
Yeah, and so Walla J, is that a
Willa J?
I'm so fucking
yeah, Willa
sorry.
J. No, it's all good.
So
yeah, so that's definitely like my
band.
My band, yeah.
Band. Okay.
Yeah, she claims me as her guitarist, so therefore I am a member of Willa J.
Okay, and are you writing lyrics for that too?
So I'd say like more so like in that creative process, I write mostly guitar. But like I've been involved in like some of the synth melodies, and she's super cool because she really likes to collaborate with like whoever. She does like a lot of stuff with this dude Pablo in town. He goes by Pocket Elephant. He is a like EDM artist, I would say, more than anything, and the stuff she's written with him is super EDM heavy, like synth heavy, a lot of
that stuff.
Yeah, me too. It's super cool, but very different from like a live band.
Oh yeah.
So I think her music is super cool because she collaborates with like whoever. We've done stuff with Homebody before, unreleased and kind of secret, but like those collaborations like are very different. So it's really cool to kind of put a live element to all that. I think that when we write, like I'm trying to get in the mindset of like less writing to be able to perform it, and more of like, let's just write and see what happens and then find a way to perform it. Whether that looks like playing along to backing tracks or taking elements of like the synthesizers or whatever it is and maybe translating that to guitar. Maybe eventually we'll get another person in the band to kind of do the auxiliary stuff, maybe play another guitar or maybe play keys, or I don't know. I think that's a future problem for us to think about. But yeah, I think for me, my contribution to the creative process of Willa J is more so playing guitar and
more leads or more like rhythms.
I think a little bit of everything.
So
yeah, a little bit of everything.
Only guitarist?
I'm the only guitarist right now. Yeah.
Perfect. Man. Yeah, that's good.
It's been really, like, honestly, it's a challenge being, because really, like, she doesn't play, she just sings. She can play keys, but like she just sings for performances. And it's a super,
man, gotta throw the show.
Yeah, it's a super vulnerable place to be, dude, being the only guitarist and holding down leads and rhythm. Like, going into it, I never really, I shouldn't say I didn't take it as seriously as I thought, but like, thinking about it where like I'm going to do just lead or I'm just going to play rhythm, where like now I'm having to do both, and like seeing how I can incorporate both. I rely a lot on like effects and like huge spacey reverbs to switch between like a lead part and a rhythm part. It's like you just have to think differently, being like the only core like melody instrument. Thank God I have a great rhythm section behind me, so it's super helpful having Chris and Kendall, because they're both awesome. So
what kind of pedal do you use to make those spacey and...
Oh man, my pedal board right now is pretty nuts.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah. So my main reverb is Chase Bliss Dark World is the name of it. Yeah, it's a 2-channel reverb. One side is like more like regular reverbs. You have like plate and spring and hall. I keep mine at the spring setting because
these are analog pedals.
So I think their whole like theology is like analog stuff with like a digital brain. So I think portions of it are, but I can almost guarantee this. Well, you can't get a spring reverb analog in a pedal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know
like a
anything
tank.
About it.
There's like that has water in it and springs and stuff. So like
that's beyond me.
Yeah, but yeah, portions of it I'm sure are analog. I don't know.
That's not the one that you bring to the blot rehearsals.
No, so that I use
else.
my Line 6 Helix. That's like my main rig for that.
Okay.
That's my main rig really for most of my like hired gun stuff, because it's so like programmable and like it's a Swiss Army knife, dude. Like I use that really just for the church.
Okay.
For blot, it's easy because I don't have a physical wah pedal, and a lot of our stuff, like I use wah, like I have a wah programmed on that. Like, and that's also a cool thing, like having the Helix, it includes a lot of effects that you wouldn't normally use. So like octaves and like filters, like auto filters. Oh. I know we were covering, oh man, what is that song by 311 that we were doing? Yeah. I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, like that's an effect that like I don't have a physical pedal for that.
I can't remember it.
Champagne.
Yeah, it is a champagne.
Is that the name of it?
Supernova.
No. But anyways, that song, yeah, so that's one that like I had to get an effect programmed in it. So like the Helix is super cool for that kind of stuff. I highly recommended it. It is a very great tool. One of my better investments as a musician, for sure.
He's not getting paid. You're not getting paid to say this.
No. Yeah, this is a shameless plug, dude. They're awesome.
That's dope. And so the Bellowing Bear.
Yeah.
That's the hired gun.
No, so I was a member of Bellowing Bear.
Not no more.
Not anymore. Yeah, I think that band I didn't really have the time. It wasn't really something that I was super invested in creatively. To me, like, it was just not for me anymore. So I let them move on. I moved on from it. I let them move on to someone else.
Did they kick you out, or were you?
No,
like, I can't
it was a me decision, definitely.
Gotcha.
I think they would have been happy to have me for longer, but it was just something I had to do for myself.
Again, going back to that, you got to know which things to say no to.
Yeah. Thankfully, they got someone who's also incredible. Carlos Steele now plays guitar for them, and he's an awesome, even just solo musician. Like, he's incredible. So I think he fits a lot better than I did, honestly. I think he matches their style, and he's someone that I think will be good for them long term.
It's good. It's a very mature way to go about things.
I hope so. I mean,
yeah, for both you, them.
Yeah.
From just this little bit of information.
Sure. Yeah. I wish them the best. I mean, I saw Matt, the singer of Bellowing Bear, recently. I was picking up a microphone, and we were able to sit down and have a beer, just good conversation. Like, it was totally cool. So I got nothing but respect for those dudes. I hope they succeed in every way. So
nice. Nice. So
Yeah.
I guess that's where I was not caught up, because I was like, I thought you was in 3 bands.
No. Yeah. So
So how do you remember all the songs and stuff? Do you read?
So for me, I rely on having a set list on my phone. A lot of the time, like, I'll use cheat sheets basically, where like I'll put the key of the song, and that kind of just gives me enough insight to be like, okay, yeah, I remember what leads are in this. Honestly, it comes down to practice, really.
Yes. Yeah.
It's the more prepared I am, the better I'm gonna sound.
I've already started getting ready for those Chili Peppers songs.
And that's I'm slacking.
It's okay. We got time because it's towards the end of October.
I know we have time, but I'm also like, I know it'll get ahead of me, so I got to get on it. I feel okay with it so far, but I'm not to the point I want to be, because, dude, it's Chili's. Like, we gotta do them justice.
Absolutely, and having to like kind of make new key or synth parts for some of them. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a little interesting.
Yeah, dude.
On my part.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it all kind of pans out, because like there's a lot of those weird backing vocals, and it's gonna be fun. I'm super stoked.
What? Yeah, bro. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna
be a blast, dude.
I'm honestly a little jealous I'm not playing guitar. Maybe I can play for one song or something. But
yeah, and I don't have a problem with that.
time
If you
to
want
set
to
it
play guitar, dude, like, by all means, grab a guitar. Honestly, it makes my life easier.
Does it?
Not having to play everything, yeah.
I mean, maybe. I'm thinking of it because it's a quick setup, because it's the dynamic of the cover shows is like, you gotta set up quick. So if I bring a whole guitar and pedal, it's an extra setup.
Do you already use because you use like a Boss thing, right? Like multi-effects?
It's a bit older, but it still works. It's got a lot of waka chuckas. Same.
But can you use that for both keys and guitar? Do you use it for keys?
You mean, have I ever hooked up my keyboard to the guitar pedal?
Or is everything ran like?
Holy shit!
Do you do do you do any?
I've never even thought about plugging the keys through the guitar pedal to. That's
Bro,
wild.
You gotta explore that. That's
man.
Running synths through pedals. Okay. That's awesome.
I don't know why I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, dude.
So the answer is no. I've never.
Okay.
I've never done that.
Well, so that's what I was thinking though, because if you do that, then maybe you can just have it routed to where we have a guitar in one input and keys in the other. I mean, for that instance, it'd be just guitar and output of that, but. I think we can make it happen, dude, if that's something you want to do.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Ultimately, it's Casey's choice, too. So we'll run it by him.
Casey's band, yeah.
But yeah, what is it? Are we playing the 28th? Is that the date for the...
I can check. I don't know off the top of my head, honestly.
Yeah, we're talking about...
I think it is the 28th. That sounds right to me.
Night of the Living cover bands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm also doing a Pink Floyd with Zach.
Oh, yeah, they were telling me that, dude. Yeah.
We're doing that on the 22nd. And
that's going to be fun.
I think I'm also doing a Capital Cities cover with Matthew. We're getting the set ready. It's like well on its way. And Barney shot me the October 8th date.
The 15th.
The 15th. We're playing on the 15th of October.
That's what I have in my calendar. So maybe...
There's a lot sooner than the 28th.
I don't know. Maybe mine's not up to date. I don't know.
I don't know, man. We'll sort it out. It's still a month.
Yeah, we still got some time. It's gonna be okay. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna come together great. It always does, dude. Again, that kind of goes to our conversation we were kind of having earlier too about like being able to rely on your bandmates. Like with dudes like Jager and Elijah and Casey around us, it's like, dude, it doesn't even matter. They're so good.
Bro. Yeah, it's the backbone. The backbone. And it's interesting too, because in Chinese astrology, the rat was the first to win the race that the Jade Emperor set out, and the rat convinced the ox to hitch a ride because it knew it was too small to race the other animals. The ox, being hardworking and very friendly, was just like, sure. And at the very last minute, the rat jumped off the ox and won the race. And so Chinese astrology, rats and oxes do very well together. They're always doing stuff together. We figured out that you were born and you're the rat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember. I was like waiting for the the segue.
You're a rat, and that's not a bad thing. It's one of the smarter signs. It's a very good thing.
Cool. Yeah.
Elijah's a rat.
Yeah.
Jager's an ox.
Oh.
What are the odds?
Okay.
Rats and oxes doing their thing.
Yeah.
And so that's also another layer of why the dynamic
There's
works
just some synergy there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
even outside of all just being like homies, like
Yeah,
it's
no.
cool to see the that there's maybe some real
I mean,
correlations
if
there
you believe in that kind of
in
stuff.
the universe.
But
Yeah.
other than that, they're phenomenal musicians. Easy to work with, very reliable was that one big word. Because, man, musicians are late a lot of the time. And me too.
I've been guilty of that. Yeah.
I mean, you're always there, though. You show up.
Yeah, super, super important.
You're not that late all the time, bro. You're just busy, bro. Showing up 5 or 10 is not that bad.
Yeah, but it's not just that group. I'm trying to get better. I was notoriously like late in high school. It was just, I don't know, I could never be on time. But I do think that nowadays I am more punctual than I am not. So
how do you help your punctuality?
Priorities for sure is probably number one. Like making sure that's your first priority is being there on time.
Okay.
Other than that, like making sure your schedule is right. I don't know. For me, when it comes to like rehearsals, I try to do it in like convenience. It's like I work at School of Rock, so like I'll try to plan rehearsals there. So then I don't have to go anywhere. So I know I'm not going to be late.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. That's why I set them up here too.
yeah. You're never going to be late to your own thing.
Yep.
Oh,
Unless I don't set up. What's up, Paul? What's going on?
Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah.
I one of my methods is a 15 to 30 minute early window.
Mm-hmm.
So for even like today, for today's podcast episode, it's been a minute since I filmed one.
Yeah.
I set everything up last night.
Yeah.
Which is actually uncharacteristic of me because I usually do it the morning, the day of.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those days we've had major troubleshooting problems as the guest is arriving, and that's a horrible feeling when like a camera's not working or the mic's not connected or like the software's not communicating. So I got a head start on it, and by a whole day.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference being prepared.
Yeah.
Or over preparing, I guess, in this instance. It's I think that's definitely a good tactic to remain punctual.
Do you ever set alarms on your phones?
Yeah. Usually if like I'm already doing something where like I'm busy and I'm not paying attention to the time, I have to have some sort of reminder to be like, okay, it's time for me to switch modes here.
Sometimes that don't even work for me though, because
Really?
I had alarms on for this morning, but my my wireless Bluetooth headphones were on from the night before, so the alarms were going off in the headphone all morning. I had no idea.
I mean, I think that's more like accidental. It's just like, okay.
That's me messing up.
Yeah.
I noticed, dude, is that a tattoo of a wedding ring on your finger? What,
Yeah, dude.
Was that to save money on a wedding ring?
No, we both have real wedding rings.
I thought you did.
Yeah,
like,
this
what?
is just a.
Is
I
it
think
new?
No, I've had it for a little while now. I think it's a symbol of commitment. I think to me and to her. We're obviously like
Speaking of
alarms, dude.
So, and again,
Sorry.
right, I want people to notice that was not planned as his alarm goes off as we were talking about alarms, and that's just one of the way the Matrix bleeds through, where you can see like the layers of what we're talking about happens in reality.
I don't even know what that was for, dude. That's crazy.
It was the Matrix bleeding through our conversation. Again, going to like manifestation or focal points of conversation. It's not called spelling for no reason, brother. Grammar is derivative of the grimoire, which was like a book of spells or some shit. Yep. So, I mean, hey, your perceptions will shape your reality. So be careful what you're saying.
Yeah.
You say good things, positive things, and you actually believe it. I think that they will happen.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think that kind of goes back to like the karmic conversation that we were having earlier, like manifesting good things. I mean, that's one thing about like the Meow Wolf show. Like I've been saying since I've been doing it, I was like kind of jokingly, but like I can die when I play Meow Wolf. Like
you believed it, bro.
Yeah, but I believed it was gonna happen.
Bro, that's what made it real.
Yeah, talking to Willa, talking to Kendall and Chris, it's just like we all believed it was gonna happen. And when the communication started, it's just like, okay, this is happening this year.
I was telling Paul about this like 2 days ago. Like that's where you start getting other people involved in the collective manifestation of it, and that propels it. When you all start believing it, and that's why. Oh man, it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think you could even relate that back to the Christianity conversation where with like prayer. It's like if enough people are praying and believing something, then like miracles can happen.
There is that verse. I mean, did Jesus ever claim to have cured people himself, or was there his words? He said it was your faith.
Yeah, it's by your faith you are healed. That was an instance where there was a woman in a crowd, and she went to touch his robe, and so she believed that just by touching his robe, she would be healed from, I don't remember whatever it was, probably leprosy or something. But
yeah, and even Christ knew that.
Yeah.
He did not.
It's a power of belief, dude.
It was her that did it through her faith,
Mm-hmm.
and he was there to aid with that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's straight up saying it right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, belief is powerful, very powerful.
I did similar kind of things with life events, doing study abroad in China. I just like really focused on like what it would be like to be in China.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was one morning I like woke up, we were celebrating. It was like the lunar, it was like the start of the fall or something. Our Chinese friends had rented an Airbnb. We had partied the night before, and I woke up to some old lady playing a guzheng outside. Like,
What is that? Oh, okay, cool. That's like a
It's like-
stringed instrument, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really weird because I like woke up and I was in China, and this old lady 10 stories down was like playing that, but it was so audibly hearable. It was almost surreal. Yeah.
That's like a parallel, dude, in the universe.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
Yeah, we can do these things, really, but it comes down to hard work too. Don't get nowhere without hard work.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Drive has a lot to do with everything, dude.
What's your diet look like? How do you keep that energy and drive?
So I don't know. I don't really pay too much attention to it. I try to make sure that I'm just getting nutrition. Honestly, to me, it looks like eating every day. Because there's definitely been periods of my life where like I didn't eat some days. And I've definitely been on the extreme of like overeating, right? To me nowadays, it's just like trying to make sure that I'm getting the right nutrition, taking the vitamins that I need. I know that I've been taking vitamin B3 or B6 lately and magnesium. And to me, like just trying to stay healthy, it makes me feel better. Even if it's just up here, like I feel better because of it. So I'm going to try to keep eating normally.
Nice.
Trying to cook at home more, less fast food, like that kind of stuff.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
We had Chiba Hut today.
Nice, yeah. You can do worse, I think.
Oh, man. The bread, I don't know.
Are you against gluten? What is the...
Bro, man, I think it fucks me up.
Really?
I think it does. If
I
I ate too much of it, man, I just like... it's not good.
Yeah, I had a conversation about this last night where we were talking about how like our generation, like I don't know what it is, but like lactose and gluten, like everyone I know is allergic to either of those.
It's the shit they spray on the crops when they're growing it.
Probably.
And all the GMO stuff they add to help the crops resist the chemicals, and it's just completely unnatural.
Probably, yeah. I would believe that. Yeah.
Man.
But I don't know. I like Chiba Hut, dude. And nothing wrong with it.
It's one of my go-tos, man.
Yeah.
And do you exercise regularly too?
Dude, honestly, no. I haven't
No?
been to a gym in so long. I can't remember the last time. I try to get my exercise just from like walking my dogs, like making sure I'm doing something, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm just on the go, like
You are moving around a lot.
a lot.
Doing that
But
sort of
like
stuff.
the thing is like the amount of time that I spend like sitting in a lesson is like it's not healthy. So I know I need to get better at it, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not a very active person nowadays, other than like staged.
Hey, man. It is what it is,
Yeah,
It's like...
I'm okay with that.
It's a
so-
momentum thing, too. Like, once you get going, it's a little easier to keep going. I
Yeah.
fell off the wagon here in the last couple weeks
Yeah.
as well. It's trying to get a lot of stuff ready. A lot of performances.
Yeah, it's been a lot of weeks for me, dude.
a lot of weeks.
A lot of weeks. But no, I think eventually, like, I do want to get back on the train to, like, in high school, I was running every single day, multiple times a day sometimes, like, before and after school, or even just after school, I would just run until I was too tired to run anymore.
You never got injured?
I can think of one time where, like, I rolled my ankle and, like, that stopped me for, like, a week. And then really what ended my running career was when I broke my wrist.
So you did injure yourself, but not running.
Not running. No, yeah, unrelated. I was just like bedridden for like a month, and so after that, I just didn't have the
You running
the
on your
will to
hands
do
or
it.
what?
I don't know. I was on a lot of medications, and so that like kind of I don't know. I couldn't get out of bed, and so it was a pretty serious break. But that was like I stopped running because of that, and then I just never got back into it. I don't know.
Does the wrist still affect you when you're playing and stuff?
Yes and no. I think I've kind of worked past it now. It definitely did at first. I had a full break on my ulna and radius, so like my hand was detached from my arm, held on by skin and muscle.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was crazy.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was super crazy.
That probably caused some disassociative coping in your brain to just see the hand.
It was crazy, dude.
I mean, that's some shit you see in like a Men in Black movie.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
What was that like? Were you trying to move it?
So I
How did that?
raised my hand and then watched it droop.
Wait, can you demonstrate?
So I lifted my hand because I heard the snap, and then I lifted my hands and just watched my hand droop to the side. It was.
But you can't even do
nuts.
it because it's connected.
Well, yeah. So I had a reconstructive surgery for my bones and have a plate and screws and stuff now.
Wow.
But yeah, they did a carpal tunnel release. There's like a scar. You probably can't see it, but because I have it covered now. But it goes from like here to the middle of my hand.
Oh man. Very cool, man. I mean, mine's not as intense as that. A little tendon and a thumb, but. Yeah, man. When they invade to reconstruct and they're cutting up, like you can see mine like a lightning bolt.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a very painful recovery. They're like keep it above your heart, so you're like your hand's always on your head or whatever.
Yeah, I remember at one point I was in the bed and they put a hook on the ceiling and I had to just. I was stuck like this, laying down, like sleeping, everything, dude. It was crazy.
So were you in an accident, or you don't have? It's not something you want to disclose?
No, it's cool. I don't mind talking about it. Like I said, I'm an open book, dude. Nah. So I was I was at a church camp, and I was a like a actor in like a skit, and so my character was like a climber, and so what I would do is I would zip line from the back of the room to the stage, and I was just hanging on, like that was all. And I remember it was a rehearsal right before we did the real thing, and I had just come from being outside. So this is my theory, is that like I had sunscreen or something on my hands that when I got on, I just slipped. And my gut reaction was to just brace myself. And
you never skateboarded or anything?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just dumb.
Shit.
That's what happened. I was just dumb. And so I landed on it, bro, and I heard the snap. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I heard it and I knew something happened. And then I raised my hands and looked at my left. Good. Looked at my right. And it was like, it was gross.
Was it painful, or do you think your brain?
It wasn't until immediately after I saw what happened. And then it was like instant shooting pain. And then I was up in the mountains in Ruidoso. So like I had to shoot down the mountain. They were like, we were an hour up into the mountains, dirt roads, like it was very crazy. So I had to drive an hour down a bumpy road. Like I was passing out from the pain. Then finally made it down the mountain in Ruidoso to where we went to the hospital there, and they didn't have a doctor that could perform a surgery on it. So then I had to take an ambulance to Roswell. It was so crazy, dude. It was so crazy.
Are you glad that it happened to you?
I don't know. I probably would have preferred to have my hand intact, but I don't know, I guess.
I think an experience like that for a male, maybe for women too, but for men, I think that's probably one of the most important things you will ever experience in your life.
Finding out that you're not bulletproof?
Yeah, something like that. It's just like getting a real good reality check on like what your body is, and just how much something can hurt physically. And then like knowing that there's nothing you can really do except wait it out.
Yeah.
And it becomes a mind game at that point. And then you start, like, your mind starts going through these exercises of, all right, it's painful, but I gotta just like, you gotta just, it's like push-ups for your brain.
Yeah. It did give me a baseline of pain. It's just like, okay, this is the most extreme that I've ever dealt with, for sure.
Wow. How old were you?
That was
Summer camp, teenager.
No, I was out of like high school. I was pretty fresh, so probably like I want to say maybe like 6-7 years now, something like that.
You were 18.
So I'm probably 19. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
probably
that's
19, 20. Yeah.
the worst injury you've ever had.
Yeah, I'd probably say. Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, super. I guess it is kind of the reality check, kind of like what you were saying.
Yeah, Paul's saying 342. And by the way, yeah, Paul, you're really good at math and like money and stuff, but man, you threw me off with your ability to read time. We were at 1 minute and 7 seconds, and he's typing, we're at 107 minutes.
Hey.
I was like, hey, yeah. So, yeah, closing thoughts, man. Any last things you want to promote or just let the world know?
I don't know, man. Sister on the 8th, be there because it's going to be great. Yeah, we got Willa J and Homebody and Sweet Roll. It's going to be awesome lineup. I think that's my biggest promo right now. Tour, catch us, follow us on the socials. Willa J, Ezra, Sena. I think that's all my plugs.
All your plugs.
Yeah.
And so far, no hair plugs.
No,
Fantastic.
so far.
I'm gonna have to make that decision real soon. I think I'm shaving it all off after.
Really?
Oh yeah, bro. After the October shows, yeah, I gotta make a decision soon. Do I want a hairline or this?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's pulling it back.
Yeah.
And pulling it back is pulling it back.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, no hair plugs for me right now, but am I open to that? Maybe. I don't know. My hairline's a little receding.
No, bro, you're fine, bro. Just grow the beard out. Just grow the beard out and go
there we
bald
go,
if
yeah.
that happens, man.
I think, well, inevitably, I'm going to go bald.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
But remember what I said about spelling and saying things?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to cause that to happen, right?
If and when it happens, I'm tattooing my whole head. That's
No
my plan.
shit.
Yeah.
Really?
100%, yeah.
As a
So
Christian
I gotta-
man?
Yeah. If tattoos are wrong, dude, then
on
I'm
your
going to hell already. So
Put on your head? What would
Yeah.
what would you put on your head?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Wait, but not your face, right?
No. Just my head. Like my head. Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully at that point too, like I'll be far enough in my career that like it doesn't matter anymore. You know,
That's the goal,
like,
right?
Yeah.
Post Malone.
Hand tattoos, everything. Hopefully I can be covered eventually.
You've held off on the hand tattoos. So
I mean,
far?
other than the ring, I mean, yeah, but I would go now. I think my rule was always like I want to have full sleeves before I get a hand tat, but like I would do it.
Because you can hide that with long sleeves, right? Like
Yeah.
suits and stuff.
Yeah, you can't really see them, which is kind of a weird sight, honestly. When I'm like looking at my arms with no tattoos when I'm wearing long sleeves, it's like, whoa, that's kind of weird.
And what about under the?
I don't have anything on my chest
No?
right now. I have something on my shoulder. I have like my left thigh done, most of it. But other than that, none. I don't know. I would like to, like I said, be covered eventually. So we'll see. Once I go bald.
Right on. Well, thank you for showing up, man, and keeping me on my game with another episode.
Yeah, dude. This was fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, would love to do it again.
Yep, and I don't really know what this button does, but
Emotional
that's what we'll end
The
with.
theme of the conversation.
The theme
Yeah.
of the conversation. Hey, and everybody out there, thank you for watching. Please hit that subscribe button or like the video, or I don't care. Do what you want, but it helps a lot because I think we're shadow banned.
Shit.
All right.
Wrong. Emotional damage. I don't take no shit from anyone. Emotional damage.
With a wave of my finger and a flick of my